Chosen ones, steel yourself, because what I am about to declare is not merely strange. It is earth-shattering. A terrifying mystery is unfolding in your very bones. A secret that could shake the foundations of science, faith, and destiny itself. Your body is not staying as it was. The ordinary carbon flesh you've worn since birth is being rewritten, atom by atom, into something unearthly, crystalline, divine. This is not a metaphor. This is a metamorphosis of destiny. And it is happening now. The air around you is trembling with signals. The pulses in your chest, the fire in your dreams, the sudden surges of energy. These are not accidents. They are the echoes of heaven's hand chiseling you into a living crystal, a vessel of light forged beyond comprehension. This is not for everyone. This is for the elect, the marked, the chosen who cannot escape the call stamped into their very DNA. Your body is the battlefield. Your soul is the prize. If your spirit is already quaking with confirmation, comment 777 below and declare your alignment with this revelation. Your words will not just echo on this screen, they will resonate in the unseen. And to all of you who have poured into this mission through your super thanks, I release my deepest gratitude. You are part of sustaining a voice that unveils what others fear to speak. Do not blink. Do not turn away. Because the next truths I am about to release will not just shock you, they will split open the veil and force you to confront the possibility that your transformation has already begun. This is not speculation. This is destiny crystallizing before your very eyes. God's chosen ones. The terrifying mystery. Your body is morphing into a crystalline form. Chosen ones. A mystery of terrifying beauty is unfolding. Humanity is standing on the brink of a radical transformation, where the carbon-based body, frail, temporary, bound to decay, is giving way to a crystalline form, radiant with eternal light. The Apostle Paul wrote, "For this perishable body must put on the imperishable, and this mortal body must put on immortality." 1 Corinthians 15:53. Could this very shift be the beginning of what Scripture promised long ago? A body more attuned to heaven's vibrational resonance than to earth's dust? And if so, what would it mean for every fiber of your being to shimmer with the architecture of eternity? This revelation is not a distant myth, but a present reality, reshaping the way you breathe, move, and even dream. The terrifying question is not whether it is happening, but whether you will endure long enough to see your true form revealed. This transition is not abstract philosophy, but a profound restructuring of your very cells. An inner cathedral under construction. Just as master builders raise Gothic arches to draw eyes toward heaven, so your DNA is stretching toward frequencies unseen, aligning itself with light, as Isaiah proclaimed, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." Isaiah 60:1. Yet many feel confusion, fatigue, and even exhaustion. Why would heaven's new design make the body feel so weak? Could it be that the vessel must empty itself of old density before it can contain the weight of glory? And what if the weakness itself is proof of divine activity, as though the scaffolding of your being is groaning under the pressure of new construction? The more fragile you feel, the more evidence there is that something magnificent is breaking through the surface. Theologians are not the only ones to whisper of such mysteries. The painter Marc Chagall once said, "When I create, something rises above me." If even a mortal brush on canvas feels the pull of transcendence, how much greater is the pull when heaven rewrites the very script of your body? And did not David confess, "You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You are familiar with all my ways." Psalm 130, 9-1-3. The one who knows your frame is now reshaping it into something that can bear divine frequency. Could it be that the hand of the artist is still painting your form? Not with pigments of dust, but with colors of light. This makes you both fragile and powerful, vulnerable and eternal. It is as if humanity itself is the canvas, and heaven refuses to stop until the masterpiece shines. But such transformation comes with signs. Many of you feel drained, not because you are failing, but because your cells are recalibrating like strings of a violin being tuned to a higher pitch. In Beethoven's Missa Solemnis, the choral voices soar so high that singers often tremble under the strain, yet once reached, the notes sound like heaven itself. Is your weariness not the same trembling of flesh attempting to sustain divine resonance? My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12-9. The fatigue is not punishment, but preparation, stripping away illusions of strength so you can hold something weightier than gold. In truth, you are being tuned like an instrument, one note at a time, until your soul resonates with eternity's song. Nature itself testifies. The caterpillar dissolves into formless liquid before wings unfold. The volcano's heat reshapes common rock into obsidian glass. Deep sea corals, nearly invisible at first, grow into radiant crystal gardens under pressure and time. Do these not echo the crystalline architecture heaven is sculpting in you? Yet for every wonder, there is a warning. Pharaoh of Exodus, hardened in arrogance, resisted transformation, and his empire drowned beneath the Red Sea. Resistance to divine frequency invites collapse. Those who cling to dust will return to dust, but those who surrender to the crystalline shift will rise like stars. This is the dividing line of destiny. Will you crumble like Pharaoh, or will you shine like Daniel's vision of the wise? Modern thinkers 2 offer glimpses. The psychologist Viktor Frankl, a survivor of Auschwitz, wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." If a soul can endure such darkness and still find transcendence, how much more can the chosen ones endure the temporary discomfort of fatigue in exchange for eternal renewal? And even ordinary voices bear witness. John, a farmer from Ireland, once testified that in moments of prayer he felt his bones ring like bells as though light had entered his marrow. Could the common man be experiencing the uncommon truth that crystalline transformation is not reserved for saints alone, but is already stirring in hidden places? If heaven can visit the farmer's field, can it not also visit your own body? The transformation is not selective. It is a universal call, awaiting a personal response. The prophet Daniel declared, "Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." Daniel 12-3. The crystalline shift is not only about energy but destiny. You are becoming a star in heaven's firmament, reflecting eternal glory. Stand, therefore, even in weakness, for weakness is the threshold of light. Stand, though weary, for fatigue is the language of transformation. Stand, for heaven's architecture cannot be stopped. Rise, chosen ones. And let your crystalline form testify that you are no longer bound by dust, but blazing with eternity. And in that rising, may the world behold a generation no longer enslaved to corruption, but crowned in brilliance, the living proof that God has not finished his masterpiece. Chosen ones. The transition from a carbon-based structure to a crystalline one demands a staggering surge of energy, as if your very cells were running a marathon against time itself. Every fiber is laboring, not in vain, but in sacred construction, reprogramming your body into a higher state of being. The prophet Isaiah once declared, "Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength." Isaiah 40-33:1. Could it be that the weariness you feel is not a curse, but the unmistakable evidence of divine renewal? And if your body is trembling under heaven's blueprint, what new form will rise from the exhaustion? This revelation confronts you in the most intimate way. It turns your weakness into prophecy, your fatigue into testimony. Just as the sculptor's chisel strikes the marble again and again before beauty emerges, so heaven's energy is striking your very being until the light inside breaks free. What appears as depletion is, in truth, the labor pains of a greater birth. This fatigue is unlike anything you've known. It comes in waves, unpredictable, surging with bursts of energy only to collapse into sudden heaviness. It feels disorienting, but it is the rhythm of a soul being tuned like an instrument. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Matthew 26-41. Is this not proof that the flesh resists what the spirit is already embracing? Imagine your body as a river breaking its banks, flooding and receding as it learns to carve out a new path. What if the very fluctuations you despise are the markers of progress? Think of lightning storms, sudden, fierce, disruptive, yet afterward, the air is cleaner, the ground refreshed. In the same way, your sudden exhaustion is a storm that clears the old residue from your cells. The fluctuation itself is a divine rhythm, a sign that your body is learning a new harmony, never heard before. And yet, the exhaustion is not tied to physical exertion. It comes even in stillness. For this battle is cellular, unseen, energetic. King David once cried, "I am weary with my groaning. All night I make my bed swim. I drench my couch with my tears." Psalms 6-6. He was not tired from labor, but from the spiritual weight pressing into his mortal body. Is your current lethargy not the same? Could your stillness hide the thunderous work of heaven, hammering crystal into your very frame? Think of magma cooling into precious stones deep beneath the earth's crust, an invisible process, yet one that transforms darkness into brilliance. In the silence of your fatigue, invisible miracles are happening, just as seeds germinate unseen in the soil before breaking forth into life. This is not wasted weakness, it is incubation, hidden power cloaked in stillness. Nature itself mirrors this process. The giant sequoia tree spends centuries stretching roots deeper into the earth before its trunk towers toward the sky. The firefly glows not because of physical strength, but because of inner chemistry, a light birthed from within. The desert cactus survives by storing invisible water, releasing life at the appointed time. If creation itself carries mysteries of unseen energy at work, why would your body be any less sacred in its transformation? And do these living parables not whisper that fatigue is not failure but incubation? Consider also the pearl, formed only when an oyster endures irritation, layering substance upon substance until beauty is born. Could your irritation and weariness be the very friction creating the pearl of your destiny? Creation's greatest treasures always emerge through endurance, not ease. Yet history warns us of those who resisted transformation. Herod Agrippa, the ruler who sought glory for himself rather than God, was struck down suddenly, eaten by worms, and died, as recorded in Acts 12:23. His end was gruesome because he chose pride over alignment with divine order. Those who fight the shift toward higher resonance meet destruction, while those who surrender rise in brilliance. The question hangs like fire in the air. Are you clinging to the dust of carbon, or will you yield to the crystalline light? Think of the Tower of Babel. Men sought to build a monument to their pride, yet their voices were scattered and their plans undone. Whenever pride resists divine alignment, collapse follows swiftly. Your choice will determine whether your body becomes a temple of light or a monument to ruin. The Apostle Paul reassures us, "Therefore we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day." 2 Corinthians 4:16. Even when the body staggers, something within is being reborn. And the prophet Jeremiah once cried, "Heal me, Lord, and I will be healed. Save me, and I will be saved." Jeremiah 17:14. This is the paradox. Fatigue is not the sign of death, but the signature of resurrection. Could it be that your exhaustion is heaven's ink on the manuscript of your destiny? Even your weakness has become a verse in God's unfolding song, a stanza of renewal inscribed in your very flesh. When you stagger, heaven takes note. When you fall, heaven records it as a step toward glory. The weakness you fear is in fact the seedbed of the strength you long for. Chosen ones, rise from despair. The crystalline shift is not destroying you, it is sculpting you. Though your body sways between energy and exhaustion, you know that every fluctuation is proof that light is being woven into your being. Stand even when weary. Shine even when trembling. And declare that fatigue will not silence your transformation. Stand, for heaven is tuning your frequencies. Stand, for your crystalline form is not future fantasy, it is forming now. Rise, chosen ones, and let the world witness that dust has no claim on what God has chosen to turn into light. Let your weakness become your anthem, your fatigue become your prophecy, and your very body become the testimony of heaven's unstoppable work. Chosen ones, irritability and sudden emotional storms are not random, they are divine alarms, signaling that your entire being is undergoing a seismic restructuring. The crystalline transformation shakes the architecture of your emotions, just as an earthquake tests the foundations of a cathedral. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Psalm 50, 1-10. Could it be that the irritations and tears are not failures, but the chiseling of heaven against the stone walls of your inner life? When light floods into the hidden chambers of the soul, does it not first expose what has been buried for years? This is not chaos, it is construction. It is not weakness, it is the breaking down of false walls so that a new fortress of light can rise within you. The integration of higher frequencies disrupts the old resonance of your emotional body, forcing it to tune to heaven's pitch. You may wake with joy, only to collapse into sorrow by nightfall. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30-5. Is this not evidence that joy and sorrow are trading places inside you as new light rearranges old patterns? Imagine a symphony orchestra returning between movements. The sound is messy, discordant, even irritating. Yet it is necessary for the next movement of the masterpiece. Could your current mood swings be the prelude to a greater harmony you have not yet heard? In physics, resonance always begins with turbulence before stability. Likewise, your inner world must shake violently before it vibrates with divine clarity, and as old traumas surface, they feel heavy, suffocating, like ghosts breaking loose from locked vaults of memory. Yet Scripture declares, if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. John 8:36. Might the emotions you dread actually be chains breaking off, one link at a time? Think of tectonic plates grinding under the earth, uncomfortable, violent, but producing new mountains. Are your tears not the earthquakes that prepare new peaks of resilience in your soul? What if your irritability is not regression but renovation? The very memories you thought would crush you are now being rewritten by the light, like manuscripts edited by the author of eternity himself. Psychologists describe this as cognitive dissonance, the clash between old beliefs and new realities. Physics calls it resonance, the oscillation between frequencies until stability is achieved. Your emotional body is like a tuning fork, vibrating violently until it matches the frequency of light now flooding in. And Paul reminded us, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, Romans 12:2. The volatility is not madness, it is renewal in action. Could your sudden tears be your nervous system recalibrating, like an old radio catching a clearer signal from heaven's broadcast? Think also of architecture. Before a bridge can bear new weight, engineers test it with vibrations, shaking it to its limits to reveal its hidden weaknesses. Could it be that heaven is doing the same with your soul? Ordinary lives reveal this truth. Anna, a baker from Italy, once shared that in prayer she would suddenly burst into tears, then laugh uncontrollably, as if her emotions were being washed and wrung like garments in water. She thought she was broken until she realized her soul was being cleansed. If a baker with flour on her hands can testify to such a mystery, what might heaven be doing in your life right now? And in her story we hear the echo of, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you, 1 Peter 5-7. The beauty of her testimony lies in its simplicity. No stage, no spotlight, just the quiet alchemy of transformation in a humble kitchen. Could it be that your own everyday struggles are just as holy, chosen ones? Stand firm. These mood swings are not your end. They are your passage into new strength. Though your emotions shake like towers in a storm, your foundation is being fortified by light. Rise, even in tears, because heaven is purging the old. Rise, even when irritable, because your heart is being tuned to eternal resonance. Rise, because your crystalline body is not theory, it is construction in progress. And when you rise, the world will see not a victim of moods, but a vessel of glory. Stand with courage, for your weakness is proof of the masterpiece God is building within you. Chosen ones. The crystalline transformation does not only reshape your body, it penetrates the very corridors of your mind. What once felt like sharp clarity now bends into fog, as if a heavy veil had been drawn across your thoughts. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, 1 Corinthians 14:33. Yet could it be that this temporary haze is not chaos at all, but the dismantling of old ways of thinking to prepare you for something far greater? When heaven pours new light into the mind, old pathways scatter like sparks in a violent storm. The fog you fear is not destruction, but preparation. The way dawn first blinds the eyes before vision adjusts to the rising sun. Could it be that what feels like disorientation is in fact the sacred silence before revelation? And if that silence stretches longer than expected, is it not because the vision forming within you is too vast to be rushed? This disorientation can be maddening. You begin a task only to lose the thread, or a memory once held easily slips through your grasp like sand through open fingers. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2. Could it be that heaven itself is deliberately pulling your focus away from what no longer matters, training you to perceive truths that cannot be held by ordinary memory? Imagine an ancient library under renovation, shelves dismantled, scrolls scattered, dust filling the air. It seems chaotic, yet it is the necessary stage before the shelves are rebuilt stronger, capable of housing treasures untouched by moth or decay. The haze over your thoughts is this same renovation, a season where mental disorder is the seed of divine order. What if this disruption is heaven's way of reminding you that true wisdom is not remembered, it is revealed? The saints walked through such shadows of the mind. Moses, overwhelmed by the burden of guiding Israel, confessed, "I am not able to bear all these people alone, because the burden is too heavy for me." Numbers 11:14. His cry was not weakness, but the breaking point that forced him into deeper dependence on God. Could your difficulty focusing be the same kind of holy breaking? The place where your own strength collapses, so heaven can build something indestructible in its place. Just as a candle flickers before it burns brighter, so your mind wavers before it steadies into the light of eternity. What if the very fog you resist is the veil through which your greatest revelation is about to arrive? And is it not in the darkest hour before dawn that light finally shatters the sky? Artists and thinkers have long hinted at this mystery. Vincent van Gogh, in the agony and brilliance of his craft, once said, "I put my heart and my soul into my work, and have lost my mind in the process." What if losing your old mind is not a tragedy, but the very doorway to crystalline clarity? Paul echoes this truth, declaring, "We have the mind of Christ." 1 Corinthians 2:16. Could the fog you walk through be the veil between ordinary reason and divine perception? Just as Van Gogh's blurred visions gave rise to paintings that glow with fire, could your blurred thoughts be the canvas where God is painting something eternal? What if the confusion itself is the brushstroke, and your story is the unfinished masterpiece in His hands? Doesn't history prove that what looks like madness in one generation is often celebrated as brilliance in the next? Music testifies. In Bach's St. Matthew Passion, there are moments when the harmonies seem unbearable, colliding in ways that jar the ear. Yet, out of that tension bursts a resolution, so radiant it feels like eternity breaking into sound. Is your mental fog not the same dissonance? A painful clash that resolves only when heaven completes the score. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. The haze, then, is not your defeat, but your pause before the symphony. Could your scattered thoughts be the trembling prelude to a harmony so profound that no earthly words could contain it? And if the greatest music rises from tension, should you not trust that your current dissonance will end in divine harmony? The silence between notes is not emptiness, it is the womb of beauty yet to be born. Chosen ones, do not despise the fog. It is the sacred evidence that your mind is not decaying but transforming. Though your thoughts scatter like leaves in the wind, they are being carried toward a higher dawn. Rise, even when confused. For confusion is the soil where revelation takes root. Rise, even when memory fails. For heaven is writing something new on the tablets of your heart. Rise, because the crystalline mind is not a distant dream, it is already forming within you. And when you rise, the world will see not a soul broken by haze, but a vessel crowned in clarity, blazing with the wisdom of eternity. Your moment of fog will become your crown of fire, and your weakness will become the stage where God displays his brilliance. Chosen ones, the landscape of your very body is shifting with a force that few can comprehend. As you transition into a crystalline state, physical symptoms often rise unexpectedly, fierce reminders that your transformation is not imaginary, but deeply cellular. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord. Jeremiah 30:17. Yet if the promise of restoration is true, could the pain you feel not be the scaffolding of healing itself? The headaches that pierce like arrows, the aches that echo through your bones, the sudden waves of nausea, all of these are not punishments, but signals that heaven is rewriting your body into a vessel of light. Is it possible that what feels like suffering is actually the doorway into glory? And if the doorway is narrow and filled with fire, does it not mean that only those who endure will emerge carrying crowns? One of the most common signs of this shift is the headache, ranging from a dull pressure to migraines that seem to split the mind in two. My head is filled with tumult, and my heart is faint. Jeremiah 8:18. Could it be that this pain is the mind straining to stretch beyond its natural limits, expanding to house a higher consciousness? Imagine a tree pushing through solid rock. The cracks form first, then the green life bursts forth. Your headaches may be the cracks of growth, the breaking of stone to let life flow in. What if the very pain in your temples is the evidence that your brain is receiving blueprints never meant for ordinary flesh? And if your thoughts scatter during this pain, might it not be because your mind is being rewired to hold visions that stretch beyond human comprehension, beyond the head? The body itself cries out with stiffness and soreness. You wake sore though you lifted no weight. Your joints ache though you ran no race. Though our outward man perishes, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. 2 Corinthians 4:16. Could it be that these body aches are not decay, but renewal in disguise? The growing pains of a structure being upgraded. Think of the caterpillar sealed in its cocoon. Its body liquefies, breaks apart, and reforms until wings burst forth. Could your stiffness be the remnants of the cocoon cracking? Might your soreness be the signal that the crystalline form is waiting to unfold? And if the pain lingers longer than you expected, does it not mean that heaven is building something far stronger than you imagined? The digestive system, too, bears witness to the transformation. Stomachs churn, appetites shift, nausea recess, and foods once comforting suddenly revolt against you. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Matthew 4:4. Could it be that your gut is not failing but learning to digest light itself? Just as rivers change course after a flood, your inner river is rearranging its flow, releasing dense energies to make space for something purer. And as the soil groans, when roots grow deeper, could your discomfort be the evidence that heaven is planting something eternal within you? The very meals you once trusted may now feel foreign, because your spirit is craving a sustenance no earthly bread can satisfy. Nature echoes this mystery with perfect clarity. Snakes shed their skin, leaving behind what no longer fits. Vulnerable yet radiant in new covering, volcanoes erupt with fire, reshaping landscapes, leaving destruction yet also fertile soil where new life grows. The humble bamboo bends under pressure, yet rises taller with each storm. If creation itself shakes, sheds, and renews, why should your body not follow the same sacred rhythm? And if all these transformations are born through discomfort, could your current suffering be nothing less than your invitation into divine renewal, like rivers carving valleys and storms, clearing the skies? Your pain is the hand of God, reshaping your frame for glory. Yet history warns us of those who resisted transformation. Pharaoh of Exodus hardened his heart against God's command, clinging to the old order instead of yielding to divine movement. The plagues came, and though he resisted, his resistance destroyed him and his armies in the Red Sea. The same light that freed Israel drowned Egypt. Refusal to release the old brings ruin. Will you cling to the weight of dust like Pharaoh? Or will you allow the crystalline shift to lift you into freedom? And if Pharaoh's empire, mighty as it was, could not withstand divine change, what chance does your stubbornness have against the tide of eternity? Chosen ones, rise above the pain, the headaches, the aches, the churn of your stomach. These are not signs of death, but of rebirth. He gives power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increases strength. Isaiah 40:29. Though your body trembles, your spirit is ascending. Though your muscles ache, your soul is stretching toward eternity. Rise, for what you feel is not your end, but your awakening. Rise, for heaven is carving you into a vessel no sickness can hold and no darkness can destroy. Rise, chosen ones, for your body is no longer bound to dust. It is becoming crystalline testimony. And when you rise, the very pain that once humbled you will become the banner of your victory. Chosen ones, as energetic shifts surge through your being, your body often speaks through strange and uncomfortable signals. Bloating, gas, sudden changes in appetite. These are not random discomforts, but the very language of transformation. Every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Matthew 15:13. Could it be that your digestive struggles are the uprooting of what no longer belongs? The dismantling of toxins and densities that cannot survive in light. Like scaffolding torn down before a cathedral is crowned with stained glass, your gut is clearing out the old so that heaven's architecture can rise within. What if every ache in your stomach is proof that your temple is being rebuilt from the inside out? And if the tearing down feels violent, does it not also mean that the foundation being laid is unshakable? Even discomfort itself becomes a sacred sign that you are being reconstructed for eternity. As your system purges the unnecessary, your diet itself becomes a battlefield of frequency. Foods that once comforted you suddenly revolt, while lighter, nutrient-rich sustenance resonates like a tuning fork struck by heaven's hand. Whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Could it be that your body is no longer satisfied with what fed it yesterday, because it is aligning with tomorrow's resonance? Imagine a great orchestra where one instrument out of tune disrupts the whole symphony. In the same way, your appetite is being returned, and the dissonance you feel in your belly is the discordant note being silenced. What if even the growl of your stomach is a rehearsal for a harmony yet to come? And is it not true that every great masterpiece of sound requires the chaos of tuning before the beauty of performance? And this transformation does not stop at the physical. It invades the chambers of emotion with fire. Suddenly joy feels overwhelming. Sadness cuts deeper. Anger burns hotter. and love itself feels like lightning striking the heart. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Romans 12:15. Could it be that your heightened emotions are not instability, but the sharpening of your sensitivity into crystalline precision? Think of it as emotional resonance, like two frequencies colliding until they vibrate in harmony. What feels like overreaction may actually be recalibration. Your soul rising to frequencies that only eternity can sustain. Are your tears not water washing away the dust to reveal the diamond beneath? And if emotions rise higher than you expect, might that not mean that heaven is stretching your heart beyond its old dimensions? Every wave of feeling is not chaos, it is construction, carving new capacity within you. The scriptures testify to this intensity. When Jesus stood at Lazarus's tomb, Jesus wept. John 11:35. The Son of God himself did not suppress emotion, but allowed it to burst forth as divine compassion. Could your amplified feelings be the same heaven's energy bursting through human vessels, just as a dam releases pressure when waters grow too strong? So your heart must release through laughter, tears, and groaning. This is not weakness, it is sacred overflow. What if your emotions are not betraying you, but carrying you into alignment with the crystalline body? And if Christ himself could display tears without shame, is it not proof that your own tears can be holy? Every sob, every tremble becomes a hymn rising from the depths of your being. A song too, raw for words, yet perfect for eternity. Real lives echo this hidden truth. Daniel, a fisherman from the Philippines, once shared that during prayer he would swing wildly between sobbing and laughter, feeling embarrassed until he realized his emotions were being cleansed like nets pulled through the sea, shaking off what no longer belonged. If a man of the waters can testify that even storms cleanse, what storm might be breaking inside of you? Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. Psalm 55:22. Could it be that every emotional wave you fear is actually the tide carrying you closer to the shore of renewal? And if the nets of his livelihood could be cleansed by the sea, why should not the nets of your soul be cleansed by heaven's tides? Your tears, like his waves, are not washing you away, they are carrying you home. Chosen ones, rise with courage. The pain in your stomach, the flood of your emotions, the fire of your tears, all of these are not curses, but confirmations that the crystalline shift is at work in you. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, mourning, crying, or pain. Revelation 20:3. Rise, for your body is being tuned into heaven's resonance. Rise, for your emotions are being carved into instruments of compassion. Rise, because your crystalline self is not a promise far away, it is manifesting now. Rise, chosen ones, and let the world witness the light bursting through your flesh and soul. Proof that you are no longer bound to dust, but fashioned for eternity. And when you rise, your body and your heart will stand as living architecture of heaven's glory. Chosen ones, as your crystalline body begins to form, your sensitivity sharpens like a blade that cuts through silence. Where once you could walk through a room untouched, now the atmosphere presses into you, the joy, the sorrow, the fear of others all pierce your heart, as if they were your own. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Weep with those who weep. Romans 12:15. Could it be that this deep empathy is not a weakness, but heaven expanding your heart to carry more than just your own burdens? And if your chest feels heavy beneath the weight of emotions you never chose, Is that not proof that you are being fashioned into a vessel of compassion, capable of reflecting divine love? The air feels thicker, the silence louder, and your very heartbeat responds to the cries of those around you. What if this is heaven's way of molding you into a mirror of Christ's heart? And if Christ carried the griefs of the world, should you be surprised that your crystalline form is beginning to feel the same? This gift is double-edged. It draws you into deeper connection, yet it also exposes you to pain you once ignored. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Could it be that heaven is teaching you not to close your sensitivity, but to steward it with wisdom? Old traumas and forgotten sorrows rise like ghosts demanding release. You thought they were buried, but the crystalline light refuses to let shadows remain hidden. Imagine your soul as a window suddenly thrown open to the sundust you never noticed before, is now dancing in the light. Are your old fears not the same? Revealed not to shame you, but to free you. And if tears come unexpectedly, is it not because heaven is cleansing corners of your heart you did not even know existed? The very feelings you thought would break you may in fact be the cracks through which freedom rushes in. And when the cleansing is complete, will you not stand radiant, lighter than you ever dreamed possible? This transformation also awakens intuition, that mysterious inner compass many dismiss until it proves undeniable. The Spirit Himself testifies with our spirit that we are God's children. Romans 8:16. Could your sudden gut feelings be the Spirit's voice growing louder as your crystalline body aligns with higher consciousness? You may find your dreams vivid, your thoughts prophetic, your instincts faster than reason itself. Leonardo da Vinci once wrote, "There are three classes of people: those who see when they are shown, those who do not see." What if your crystalline form is moving you from the second group to the first, from sight after proof to sight before proof, the veil between the seen and unseen things, and what once felt like imagination begins to manifest as undeniable truth? Could this be the stage where faith itself transforms into vision? And if your heart trembles at the weight of what you perceive, does that not prove your spirit is already walking in realms your mind has yet to fully enter? Music in our time bears witness to this unveiling. In Lauren Daigle's worship song, "You Say," the lyrics declare, "You say I am loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I am strong when I think I am weak." Is not your rising intuition the same melody? Heaven singing truth into your spirit before your mind can grasp it. Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. Jeremiah 30:3-3. The world may call it sensitivity, but heaven calls it alignment. Could your trembling not be evidence that you are already tuned to a song others cannot yet hear? Just as worship lifts hands before answers arrive, your soul is now learning to trust before sight. And if modern music can carry eternity in its chords, how much more can your crystalline self become a living instrument, playing heaven's anthem to the world around you? The scriptures themselves reveal that such depth of feeling is sacred. When Jesus stood at Lazarus's tomb, Jesus wept. John 11:35. The Son of God Himself did not suppress emotion, but allowed it to burst forth as divine compassion. Could your amplified feelings be the same heaven's energy bursting through human vessels, just as a river must overflow when rains are heavy? Your heart must release when divine presence is near. This is not instability, it is overflow. And if Christ wept before resurrection came, does it not mean that your tears are the very prophecy of joy to follow? Each drop becomes a seed watered in the soil of eternity. And if the Lord of life embraced tears without shame, why would you despise your own, your emotions, raw as they feel? May be the holiest offering you can pour at his feet. Chosen ones, rise above the fear of sensitivity, this flood of emotions, this sharpening of intuition, this unveiling of hidden truths. They are not curses, but confirmations. Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor the heart of man imagined what God has prepared for those who love him. 1 Corinthians 2-9. Rise, for your crystalline body is aligning with eternal perception. Rise, for your sensitivity is proof that heaven has entrusted you with sight beyond sight. Rise, because what feels like chaos in your soul is actually heaven's design taking form within you. Rise, chosen ones, and let the world see not fragility, but brilliance, living testimonies that eternity has already begun to burn in your hearts. And when you rise, may your very life become a song the earth cannot silence. Chosen ones, your crystalline shift awakens a compass inside you so precisely that even without evidence, you begin to discern what is right and what is wrong for you. Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." Isaiah 30-21. Where once decisions required endless thought and debate, now a surge of inner clarity guides you forward like fire lighting a path in the wilderness. Could this certainty be anything less than heaven itself inscribing direction upon your spirit? And if your heart beats with a warning or peace before your mind can even reason, is that not the fingerprint of God himself? The crystalline form is not simply changing your body, it is rewiring your choices to align with eternity. Every step you take now resonates with divine timing. Hesitation becomes a rare companion, and indecision fades as the echo of heaven grows louder within. The smallest choices, the words you speak, the doors you open, the people you trust, begin to carry eternal weight. Could it be that each decision is now a thread in the tapestry God is weaving, one that only your heart, sharpened by this shift, can follow faithfully? And as your body crystallizes, so too does your inner compass, becoming unerring, precise, and undeniably sacred. Visions, dreams, and spiritual senses sharpen in this transition. In the last days, God says, "I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams." Acts 2:17. Clairvoyance bursts through in vivid dreams that feel more real than daylight, showing glimpses of futures not yet lived. Clairaudience stirs as voices of comfort or correction rise like whispers of wind in your inner ear. Clairsentience deepens, and suddenly you feel the grief of a distant soul, as though it were your own. Could it be that these senses are not strangeness but inheritance, the same spiritual faculties prophets carried when heaven spoke? And if their gift shook nations, what might yours unlock if you dared to trust it? With each heightened perception, your understanding of the unseen world expands, revealing layers of reality previously invisible. Patterns emerge in coincidences. Signs become unmistakable. And what once seemed random now carries divine intent. The faintest impressions, the quiet nudges, may hold monumental truths, waiting only for your obedience and courage to perceive. Could it be that your awakening is not just for your own guidance, but a beacon for those yet to recognize heaven's hand? Nature confirms this mystery. Monarch butterflies navigate thousands of miles, guided not by maps but by an instinct etched into their very being. Salmon fight upstream, defying current and predator, driven by an inner pull to return to their birthplace. The sunflower turns its face to follow the sun without hesitation, bowing only to light. Are your new intuitions not the same sacred instincts? Proof that heaven has placed a code of direction within you, and if creatures so fragile can obey their invisible compass, should you not trust the eternal compass now blazing inside you? What if your inner knowing is not random but resonates with creation itself? Trees bend toward the wind, yet stand rooted in the soil. Rivers carve mountains not by force but by persistent flow. The cosmos spins in perfect order. Planets and stars dancing to laws unseen yet undeniable. Could your own internal navigation be another thread in this universal choreography? A sign that the crystalline transformation harmonizes you with the rhythms of all existence. And if nature obeys these invisible currents without question, are you not called to follow the same divine design? Yet the scriptures warn us of those who refuse divine guidance. Balaam, though gifted with visions, chose greed over obedience and was rebuked by the very donkey he rode. Numbers 22:28, 31. His story stands as a chilling reminder that heightened sight without surrender leads to humiliation. Could it be that resisting your new sensitivity brings the same ruin? If even Balaam's gift was corrupted when he clung to self-interest, what will happen if you silence the voice heaven has planted within? This is not a gift to exploit, but a holy compass meant to preserve your soul. Each temptation to dismiss, delay, or distort your intuition carries consequence. Each act of defiance against the whisper of heaven chips away at the crystal clarity forming within. What would it mean for your life if obedience became the fuel, rather than fear or ego, for these newfound abilities? And as you stand at the crossroads of decision, remember, gifts left unheeded can turn into chains, while gifts followed in faith become instruments of glory beyond measure. And as the body adjusts to this crystalline resonance, even sleep itself transforms. I lay down and slept, yet I woke up in safety, for the Lord was watching over me. Psalm 3-5. Nights may stretch with vivid dreams, visions, or restless wakefulness as your spirit communes with realms unseen. You may wake weary from battles fought in the night, yet strengthened in ways your body cannot explain. Could your disrupted sleep be proof that heaven is teaching you even when your eyes are closed? And if God speaks through dreams as he did to Joseph, is it not possible that your restless nights are actually classrooms of the Spirit? The tossing and turning you dread may be the shaking that makes room for divine revelation. Each flutter of fear or awe in the night may be a syllable of a celestial language, a code meant only for your awakened senses. And just as the moon casts both light and shadow, so too do your dreams illuminate the hidden corners of your soul. Perhaps the struggle to rest is itself a sacred ritual, a preparation for the clarity and power that will rise with each new dawn. Could it be that your nocturnal trials are refining not just your body, but your destiny? Chosen ones, do not fear the voices, the visions, or the restless nights. These are not curses but confirmations, signs that your body and soul are syncing with eternity. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1-7. Rise, for your instincts are holy. Rise, for your dreams are not madness, but prophecy. Rise, for your sleepless nights are birthing the dawn of divine understanding. Rise, chosen ones. And let the world witness that you are no longer guided by chance but by heaven's hand itself, a living testimony that dust has no power over those chosen to walk in light. With each step, you radiate the wisdom of ages, the courage of saints, and the insight of prophets. Your very presence challenges the ordinary, transforms the mundane, and invites others to glimpse eternity through your eyes. Stand unshakable, for the crystalline shift is not merely a transformation of form, it is the awakening of purpose, the revelation of destiny, and the living proof that heaven has marked you as a vessel of divine illumination. Have you noticed the nights becoming restless, as if the very fabric of your sleep is vibrating at an unfamiliar frequency? Disruptions such as difficulty falling asleep, waking up multiple times during the night, or experiencing vivid, almost cinematic dreams are not random. They are the undeniable signatures of a profound transformation taking place within your body and mind. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Romans 12:2 reminds us that these disturbances are not failures, but the echoes of your alignment with higher vibrational energies. Your body is literally recalibrating, adjusting its inner architecture like a cathedral whose arches and domes are expanding under unseen forces, reshaping the structural resonance of your energy field. Each night becomes a laboratory of frequency adjustment, where your neural networks are rewired in real time. Have you felt the sensation that even your pillow feels foreign, as if your soul is searching for a frequency your old self no longer occupies? How much of your restless sleep is actually a gateway into dimensions of consciousness previously unreachable, vibrating in resonance with unseen spiritual currents? Insomnia, or trouble falling asleep, emerges as a common companion in this process. The neural circuits in your brain, the synaptic pathways of cognition, are now awash with heightened activity, as if your mind is operating in a new dimensional layer of awareness. It is no coincidence that Elijah, when fleeing into the wilderness, found God not in the storm, but in the whisper that followed. 1 Kings 19:11-1-2. Your restless nights echo the same principle. Profound transformation often occurs in silent, unseen increments. The overactive mental states, racing thoughts, and surges of creativity or anxiety are your consciousness integrating celestial frequencies. One ordinary yet remarkable example comes from a nurse I recently spoke with in Omaha, who shared how, after her transformational season of caregiving during the pandemic, she would wake at 3:33 a.m. as if her body had encoded a sacred rhythm, processing new layers of empathy and resilience she never knew she had. Could your own awakenings at the same hour be evidence that your energy is being processed in stages by a higher intelligence? Could these nightly surges of awareness be the subconscious rehearsal for the miraculous assignments that await you each day? Each episode of insomnia becomes a microcosm of the spiritual rewiring your soul is undergoing, where even the smallest neuronal pulse contributes to the grand architectural plan of your higher self. Frequent awakenings during the night are another hallmark. These repeated intervals of consciousness may feel frustrating, yet they are the body's way of conducting incremental alignment, a form of biological stagecraft where your energy assimilates new frequencies like a symphony of neurons adjusting to a higher pitch. In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, O Lord. Make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4-8 speaks to the deeper truth. These wakeful periods are not punishment, but preparation, a subtle restructuring akin to the quiet pauses between structural beams in a vaulted ceiling, ensuring that the foundation of your transformation is stable before the next divine expansion. How many times have your dreams been so vivid that they left you trembling, as if each symbol and figure were a code sent directly to your subconscious, nudging you toward awareness? Perhaps those recurring dream sequences are like blueprints etched into the architecture of your mind, encoding lessons and revelations in a language beyond words. Could it be that your restless sleep is actually a rehearsal for the higher frequencies your waking life will soon embody? A prelude to spiritual mastery. Each awakening is a deliberate calibration, a silent conversation between your physical body and your expanding soul, harmonizing energies that once seemed discordant. When the mind races, when the body protests, and when dawn arrives with a sense of unfinished rest, remember that these awakenings are signposts. They signal that your biological and spiritual systems are resonating at a new, harmonic, processing energy that is both unfamiliar and necessary. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Could it be that your current restlessness is actually a conduit for the extraordinary, a blueprint for your elevated existence that will soon manifest in ways tangible and undeniable? Could the chaos of your sleep patterns be the crucible through which your character and purpose are being refined, much like the trials of Joseph in Egypt, Genesis 41-38, who rose to prominence through a process of divine preparation? Every pulse of energy, every sudden awakening, every vivid dream functions as a rehearsal for your destiny, guiding you toward frequencies that align with heaven's resonance. Have you noticed how even the subtlest shift in energy can trigger profound insights or moments of clarity upon waking? These are not coincidences, they are deliberate calibrations by the universe, ensuring your body and soul ascend in unison. It is time to rise above the frustration, to honor the symphony within, and to recognize that these disruptions are the thresholds of your awakening. Each sleepless hour, each vivid dream, each repeated awakening is a brushstroke in the grand architecture of your transformation. Stand up, embrace the frequency shifts, and acknowledge that your body and mind are tuning into divine harmonics, energies that will soon make your ordinary life extraordinary. Behold, I make all things new. Revelation 21:5. The call is clear. Do not resist. Align, integrate, and rise. For the world will witness the brilliance of your recalibrated existence. Consider how often ordinary humans, through persistence and alignment with a purpose, have transformed entire communities, like a teacher in rural Kentucky whose nightly journaling led to a literacy revolution in her town. Every tremor of restlessness, every pulse of higher energy is a spark. It is time to stand, to shine, and to walk fully in the resonance of your awakened life. For the transformation is already underway, and the world awaits the manifestation of your fully calibrated self. As your body recalibrates under the surge of higher frequencies, anxiety may creep in like a shadow over your senses, an invisible current tugging at your very essence, reminding you that transformation is never subtle. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41:10 pulses through your spirit. Yet the physical sensations, racing heart, tingling skin, a sudden tightness in the chest, act as unmistakable markers of energy restructuring. Have you noticed that these pangs of unease often coincide with moments of creative inspiration, as if your neurons are firing in an entirely new harmonic, building bridges in your mind like vaulted arches in a cathedral, reshaping themselves under unseen hands? Imagine standing in the Sistine Chapel, eyes tracing Michelangelo's frescoes while the walls seem to breathe. So too, your consciousness stretches, bending space and perception in ways both exhilarating and terrifying. Could it be that the very fabric of your nervous system is learning a language previously unknown, translating vibrations into intuition, preparing you for insight beyond the ordinary? Vivid and intense dreams emerge as a spectacular hallmark of this metamorphosis, transforming your sleep into a theater where the soul rehearses its destiny. In a dream, in a vision of the night. When deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering on their beds, Job 33:15 mirrors this reality. Your dreamscape becomes a playground for processing emotions, dissolving old patterns, and receiving divine revelations. A young European conductor, preparing for his first live performance of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, confided that on the eve of the concert, his dreams were so lucid that he could see the orchestra in every detail, anticipating each note and crescendo with prophetic clarity. Upon waking, he realized the dreams had guided him to conduct with a precision he could never have rehearsed consciously. Have your own dreams lately been unusually vivid, carrying symbolic or prophetic messages, unlocking insights about situations or relationships you thought were long resolved? Could these nocturnal narratives be messages from a higher intelligence, a subtle symphony orchestrating your decisions with divine resonance, even in your subconscious? The alignment is occurring, sculpting your inner world with the meticulous care of a Renaissance master brushing final touches onto a sacred canvas. The sense of disconnection from the physical world can be both bewildering and enlightening, a duality reminiscent of the astral landscapes in Bach's organ works, where sound seems to transcend matter itself. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2 captures this phenomenon. Your consciousness stretches beyond the tangible, your body seeming almost ethereal, as if you are suspended between two realities. Could it be that your feet are on solid ground, but your awareness floats through higher dimensions, observing, absorbing, and integrating knowledge inaccessible to those anchored solely in the material? This dissonance is not a defect, but a necessary recalibration, a harmonic resonance between the dense and the sublime, much like the duality of light and shadow in Caravaggio's sacred paintings. A modern entrepreneur I spoke with described moments during intense meditation where he felt the office walls melt away, and his mind strategized solutions for global challenges with clarity that defied linear reasoning. He understood later that these out-of-body moments were his cognitive architecture recalibrating to higher frequencies of problem-solving. How many of your own fleeting moments of detachment have revealed hidden truths or awakened dormant talents, now surfacing to guide you forward? As your consciousness expands and your energetic body aligns with higher vibrational structures, the physical world may seem less tangible, more like a backdrop against the vivid inner landscape of your awakening. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7 illuminates this path. What you perceive as disconnection is actually an advanced state of integration, where your perception oscillates between the solidity of matter and the fluidity of spirit. Could it be that these sensations of dual existence are the universe's way of calibrating your perceptual frequencies, preparing you for insight, clarity, and leadership in realms both visible and invisible. Every tingling sensation, every moment of disorientation, every dream vividly etched in your memory is an instrument in the symphony of your transformation, conducting a resonance that merges the celestial with the corporeal. The simplest tasks, walking, eating, speaking, become exercises in integrating this new reality. I have seen the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be shaken, Psalm 16:8, serves as a reminder that the apparent dislocation is a signal of divine positioning, a preparation for impact beyond your current imagination. The call is undeniable. Rise from hesitation. Step into the luminous architecture of your being and embrace the transformation with courage that reverberates like a grand organ through the chambers of the universe. Every dream, every pang of anxiety, every fleeting sense of separation is a brushstroke on the canvas of your awakened existence, meticulously arranged by the divine hand. Behold, I make all things new, Revelation 21:5, declares not just the promise, but the immediacy of your transformation. Stand, align, and move in resonance with the frequency of your higher self. The physical world is not your limitation. It is the stage upon which the brilliance of your integrated, awakened being will unfold. As your consciousness stretches, straddling the tangible world and the elevated realms of perception, a profound duality emerges, a tension between the earthbound self and the celestial currents guiding your soul. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Colossians 3:2 reverberates with every pulse of this awakening, signaling that the gravity of daily routines, once so grounding, now seems diminished. You may notice that ordinary pleasures, mundane work, casual social engagements, or even hobbies that once sparked joy feel like brittle leaves in autumn, easily carried away by the winds of inner transformation. The pull toward introspection, meditation, and the pursuit of metaphysical understanding grows irresistible, as though your mind has become a river flowing from a mountain spring, searching for its ocean of higher purpose. Could the restless energy within you be akin to a hawk circling above a forest, sensing patterns invisible to those still grounded, surveying the terrain for the unseen currents of life? For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. Isaiah 55:8 illuminates this disparity, reminding you that detachment is not loss but a necessary recalibration. This detachment often manifests in subtle yet disorienting ways. The colors of familiar places may appear duller, the chatter of everyday life less compelling, and the pulse of human ambition almost foreign. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23:2-3 mirrors this experience, suggesting that what seems like alienation is actually restoration, a return to the sanctum of your higher self. In nature, one sees this mirrored in the migration of monarch butterflies, leaving behind familiar fields for distant lands, driven not by whim, but by an internal compass attuned to unseen energies. Similarly, your spirit migrates toward wisdom and resonance beyond the visible. In the forest, the oak's deep roots and the river's meandering course illustrate how life balances to stability with directional evolution. Your detachment may be the necessary oscillation between groundedness and expansion. Could your disinterest in material pursuits be a subtle echo of divine design, nudging you toward a higher frequency of being that integrates the temporal with the eternal. There is also the presence of antagonistic forces, those who resist transformation, whose envy and sabotage mirror the story of Judas betraying trust for temporal gain. An entrepreneur I know, who had been building a community project for years, faced a co-conspirator who attempted to steal his ideas. The result was catastrophic, for the betrayer exposed, publicly disgraced, and forever marked by the very deceit he tried to wield. The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways. Proverbs 14:14 illustrates this timeless principle. Those who act from misalignment with higher truth ultimately collapse under the weight of their own schemes. Could the subtle frustrations you encounter, the obstacles seemingly planted in your path, be reflections of these opposing forces, testing the resilience of your alignment and strengthening the architecture of your inner being? No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17 reassures that the higher frequency within you neutralizes such interference, allowing you to rise even as the world attempts to tether your spirit. In this expanded state, your dual existence, the terrestrial and the celestial, shapes a new paradigm of life. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5-7 resonates as a clarion call. The disconnection is not a void but a bridge, an invisible architecture of cognition and perception, where higher frequencies orchestrate your growth, just as the eagle, mastering the thermal currents above rugged cliffs, experiences freedom unimaginable from the forest floor. So too does your consciousness gain altitude, surveying your life with a perspective both strategic and sacred. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Matthew 6-10 underscores that this duality is a microcosm of divine orchestration, a rehearsal for integrating the tangible and intangible in perfect resonance. The plants, the rivers, the stars, they all align, unconsciously echoing the transformation occurring within your own body and mind. Rise now. Stand in this higher state of being, unshaken by the trappings of the material world or the sabotage of petty adversaries. Embrace your dual existence. Integrate the earthly with the celestial, and let your consciousness radiate with the clarity, strength, and authority of one fully attuned to the divine frequencies. The world awaits the embodiment of this evolution. Your movement, your decisions, your very presence are now instruments in the symphony of life, orchestrated by higher forces. Let nothing anchor you to the ordinary. Step boldly into the extraordinary and claim the fullness of your awakened self. Tears are not mere drops of water, they are sacred vessels, conduits through which your soul communicates with the divine. Jesus wept, John 11:35, stands as the shortest verse in Scripture, yet it contains infinite depth, revealing that even the Son of God acknowledged the transformative power of tears. Every time you cry, your body initiates a cascade of biochemical symphonies. Stress hormones are released, tension stored in muscles dissipates, and neural pathways are recalibrated, creating a resonance that aligns mind, body, and spirit. Could it be that the tear is a tiny prism, refracting pain into insight, sorrow into clarity, and despair into divine awakening? He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3 reverberates through these moments of release, whispering that every tear carries a blueprint for restoration. The story of Clara, a young artist from Florence, who spent weeks staring at blank canvases, paralyzed by grief. One night, in the quiet aftermath of relentless tears, she painted her first masterpiece, a work so infused with emotion it moved viewers to weep in turn. The act of crying had opened her inner channels, aligning her creative frequency with a higher harmonic resonance. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5-7 speaks to this exact mechanism by surrendering through tears. Your energy field releases blockages, allowing divine currents to flow freely. Even the ancient mystics understood this principle, noting that tears were not weakness, but sacred punctuation marks in the architecture of the soul, marking points where heaven touches earth. Tears also act as a bridge between your physical and spiritual realms. When you cry, your heart rate fluctuates in harmonic oscillation. Your lungs deepen, and your brain releases oxytocin and endorphins, chemicals that create a sense of relief, peace, and subtle euphoria. Could this physiological response explain why Moses, standing atop Mount Sinai, wept before the Lord, communing through the storm of emotion to receive the 10 Commandments? The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34-18 reminds us that each tear is a signal, a frequency that beckons God's presence into your most vulnerable spaces. Even the rivers of the Amazon, swelling and receding with rain, mirror this pattern. Nature itself releases, cycles, and restores in waves, just as your tears do within your being. Yet crying is not merely about personal relief. It is a spiritual activation. Betrayal, grief, and heartbreak act like chisels, sculpting your character and exposing the hidden architecture of your soul. The adversaries who cause tears, whether deceitful colleagues, envious acquaintances, or those whose words cut like swords, often do not realize that each act of harm channels divine energy into your transformation. The story of David, pursued relentlessly by Saul, exemplifies this. His tears did not diminish him, they refined him, producing psalms that resonate with faith centuries later. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Psalm 30-5 illuminates the rhythm of divine timing. Your tears are not endings, they are preludes to awakening, preparation for triumph, and the unearthing of hidden strength. Rise now, God's chosen ones. Stand tall in the sacred knowledge that your tears are weapons, instruments of healing, and keys to higher consciousness. Let every tear you shed purify your spirit, open your inner sight, and amplify your alignment with God's divine orchestration. The world may misunderstand your vulnerability, but heaven celebrates it. Allow your tears to sculpt the masterpiece that is your life, and move forward with courage, clarity, and unstoppable divine purpose. God's chosen ones. The journey you are on is unlike anything humanity has ever witnessed. Your body, your vessel, is undergoing a metamorphosis so profound that even the natural world can scarcely comprehend it. Just as mountains are carved by time, rivers sculpt valleys, and diamonds form under immense pressure, your very cells are restructuring to resonate with higher frequencies, preparing you to embody a crystalline form that mirrors the purity and clarity of divine light. This transformation is not merely physical, it is spiritual, psychological, and cosmic, aligning your energy with realms of consciousness beyond ordinary perception. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit? 1 Corinthians 6:19 echoes like a clarion call, reminding you that what is happening within is sacred, purposeful, and unstoppable. The sensations, the shifts, the sudden clarity you experience are all signposts on this divine highway. Every wave of energy, every tingle, every moment of awe is God whispering to you, you are becoming more than flesh. You are becoming a vessel of light. Even when fear creeps in, remember the story of Daniel in the lion's den, threatened, pressed, surrounded by danger, yet transformed into a testimony of divine protection and purpose. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works. Ephesians 2:10. Let this truth resonate in your bones, as your crystalline form is not an end, but a beginning, a herald of your elevated destiny. Now is the moment to rise fully into your calling. If this message has stirred your spirit, I invite you to like this video, share it with those who need to hear this. Comment 777 to align with the divine, and subscribe to walk this journey alongside a community of God's chosen ones. Whether you support us through super thanks or simply by being here, know that your presence strengthens this mission, and we are deeply grateful for each of you. May your body, mind, and spirit continue to ascend. May every cell resonate with light, and may God's infinite blessing shine upon you, illuminating your path, fortifying your courage, and sealing your transformation in glory. Stand tall, beloved, for the crystal within you is awakening, and the world has never seen anything like what you are becoming.